Hey, welcome back, or hi, glad you're joining us for the first time, perhaps. I am Sean Ritter, one of the hosts here of Tailgate Talk. Not only do we have the podcast here, but we have a regular radio show that you can catch on our Milwaukee affiliate, 97.3 The Game, also available on the free iHeartRadio app. A lot to get to in the show today, so we're just going to jump right into things. First off, we will start with the universal background check. Exactly what does that bill mean for gun owners? What is it? How is it going to affect you? We're going to explore all the sides of this entire topic, plus talk about some of the stresses that we've had with finding outdoor stuff most recently. So let's just get right into the show. All right, welcome to Tailgate Talk. I am Sean Ritter. You can find me on socials at OnAirRitter. Joined in studio by E.T. Eric Tasker. You can find him ET5504. Dialing in from home, the former major leaguer Paul Wagner going to step in here in just a second. Oh, and just say it. There he is. I was just playing around with something before you got in here, Wags. I'm curious how excited you are for.
I'm looking right at mine. I'm looking right at it. Zone 2, time period B, 4/28/21 to 5/4/21.
Zone 2, period D, 5/12 to whatever. I'm late this year. I still might buy an over-the-counter tag for one of those late season, for like the last period that's left, but
yes.
Getting excited for turkey time. All right, we're just going to roll into things, start talking about what we were going to talk about here, because I wanted to bring up, it's something that I've seen a lot about, especially online. And one of the new government rules, it's H.R. 8. Of course, what I'm talking about is one of the new gun background check laws. Basically, this is what's known as, or everyone's calling the universal background check. I've kind of dug in a look and to see a little bit more about this. Is really, when you boil down what it's saying, I don't know how familiar you guys are with this, but it's basically saying that every gun that's purchased, you have to go through a background check. So say I'm going to sell you a gun, or Wags, you're going to sell me or Tasker one of your guns. We'd have to go to a gun shop together. I would have to pass a background check to purchase the gun from you. There are a whole bunch of stipulations to that, because then everyone's going, well, I mean, I can't give guns to my grandkids, to my nephews, to my brothers. That actually is completely fine. There's the exceptions that you can pass a gun down from family member to family member, of course, with the caveat that you don't think that they're going to use that gun to commit a crime. So, I mean, is this law really anything at all, or is this just basically words to get everyone stirred up on both sides of the aisle?
You know, for my take on it, is being a gun-toting NRA member, I'm not really disappointed in the background check. I never was when we changed it here. And I'm not saying, let me clarify that. Long rifles, long guns, I disagree with the background check. Can a deer rifle harm somebody, fatally wound somebody? Yes, absolutely.
Okay, the argument, I'm going to jump in there quick, Wags. Is an AR-15 a long rifle? Is that a deer rifle?
It's a deer rifle. It's a 223 or a 5.56. Just because, are you going by an AR? Because AR doesn't mean assault rifle. If you really look up the definition of AR, it's tactical weapon. It's the same exact thing with a different stock and a different forearm. If you're going to start going with political advocates, the people that are saying that the AR is a military style weapon, it looks like a military style weapon. Yes, I agree with it. But is it shooting Kelvar penetrating bullets? No. Does it shoot the 223 that we use for varmint control when we shoot coyotes? Yes. Does it shoot a 5.56? Yes. You know what? You can make that look. So when you blanket say an AR-15 or an AR, that assault rifle in quote, I am okay with, and I don't know what you think, Eric, Task, but I'm okay with maybe. I don't think somebody needs a 30-round magazine or a 50-round magazine, and it's going to go against my NRA beliefs. But to get back onto your background check, I'm okay with a 3-day from a licensed dealer. The iffy part is when I want to sell Tasker a 9mm, and now what do we have to do? Now we have to go. But hey, if that's what happens, that's what has to happen.
Are you saying you're saying that because you think I'm crazy, or?
Well, we know you're crazy, Tasker. There's no you think. We know this.
So you were saying that AR doesn't stand for assault rifle. It's the brand of the manufacturer that is Armalite rifle. So that's where I think that gets kind of twisted around. So that's where people use that as assault rifle just because of course, AR.
Listen, there's one thing y'all learned about me. I like controversy, and I like to really say things that stir the controversy to get all of you guys to argue about things and have sides. You know what, Wags, though? I 100% agree with you. I've always been the person, and this has been my take, which goes, again, completely against what most outdoorsmen, quote unquote, you'd think of, with things. I don't care. When it comes to I don't take guns. I don't need a gun. Just let me shoot all the birds and we want bows. I'm fine with that. Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen. It will never happen. It can't happen. It's in the Constitution.
Right.
So the fact that that's ever thrown around always bothers me of like, they're going to take your guns away. Someone's going to no one is ever going to, no one legally ever will be allowed to. And I'm fine with adding checks and balances of things and having background checks. Like you said, like a 3-day, you can wait 3 days. Well, really, what's the difference? That it maybe takes a little bit of planning ahead. You know what I mean? If you're going to go buy a gun today to go hunt today, you probably should have rethought
what are
things.
The chances
right.
that happens?
There's a little more should have. So, like, to wait a couple days, I don't think there's any problem with that at all. Again, the selling back and forth to friends, to whatever. Like you said, Wags, if it's something you got to do, it's something you got to do. I don't see any problems with it, but there's a lot of people that are, like, just all up at arms with this whole thing.
Well, and in addition to that, are there going to be, because I was reading a couple different things just in, beforehand, that are there going to be additional fees that go through the processing for that then? Because then you're adding, it could be $80 and I saw up to $200 for that transfer fee then. So then you're not only paying for the firearm of whatever caliber, but then you're also paying, in addition to that, kind of a tax or a subsidy for filing the paperwork, which that's going to make a lot of people mad then because they don't want to have to pay for that, and they're trying to buy them at these gun shows, the Bob and Rocco gun shows or whatever it is, that they don't have to go through all of that paperwork and all of that stuff, and then the additional fee on top of that. I think that's going to upset a lot of people.
See, if we've all been to like outdoors banquets, right? Like I've hosted and been to many Ducks Unlimited banquets throughout the years. You win a gun, you got to go and fill the paperwork there.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, even you win the gun at the event that night, you don't get the gun. You fill the paperwork out, and then you go to the gun shop and pick it up later. To me, I don't see why some of these gun shows that don't do that, that do that, couldn't just have it that way. So you want to purchase a gun there, okay, fill out the paperwork, then come to my gun shop and pick it up. You know what I mean? I get that it's the private sale of things, but I just...
That's where it's sticky then, right? Because it's...
You're right.
Those local gun shows could just be a gun collector that has, acquired a dozen or a couple dozen or however many guns over the course of his life or their life, and that they want to, get rid of a couple of those. So they don't want to have to do all of that. And
sell it to a gun shop. You know what I mean? Sell it to a gun shop, let the gun shop sell it there. I mean, as far as the transfer fee, I think that'll come down to like the actual gun stores charging, for the filing, and they're doing that. Be smart of them to offer that discounted or do it free to get you to come to their gun shop to do said transactions. And while you're there, there's a point of touch that you're in their store, Yeah.
Yeah, and when I bought my rifle, I don't even know how many years ago that was now, maybe 5 years ago, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago. When we went to Cabela's, I was in and out. They have iPads set up that you can fill out all that paperwork, and it's maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes worth of work, and it's an immediate answer. And so for me, that's what universal background check is, that you have to go through all of that just to make sure that there's no red flags or anything in your record. But when they talk about the aspect of what is that actually pulling from your history, because like if you have a mental history where there is somebody that has any kind of mental disorder, then where do you draw the line with that? And that's where I think it starts to rub people the wrong way.
A lot can. And I'll stick my neck out here on this one. If you don't know, my background is in law enforcement. So I went to school for. I've been around law enforcement all my life. I worked through high school as part of the Explorers program, which basically, it's like police Boy Scouts. Did that all forever. My grandpa was a cop. So I'm very, very all like for law enforcement. When it came to carry conceal, I've always been against carry conceal. And it's not that I'm like, people shouldn't have guns. Here's my thought. It's natural and normal to be good, right? Like, we're all born good people. We want to be good. The natural inclement in us to be good to each other and be good. All it takes is that. And if that's someone that, happens to be carrying, it's again, that's the quagmire and the sticky stuff. How many times does that happen versus not? But it's just a little thing to think of. And again, if you just create one extra little step that might deter something, I think that's the only way to make everybody happy. And if it's the slightest of inconvenience, to me, I'm not inconvenienced by it, so I don't see as big of an issue with it.
Yeah.
Well, you bring up something, Noel, where you bring up the conceal and carry, and you're totally against. I think you. Again, I don't know much, but if Chicago is a gun safe zone, it's a lot easier, just in theory, it's a lot easier to go into an establishment if you're the bad guy.
Yeah.
And you have no fear of an undercover cop is a little bit different. So, but a civilian with a conceal and carry, maybe the owner of the establishment's son, maybe it's his father. You're coming in there to rob or commit a theft of a gas station or something, and you don't know. You don't actually know if there is something, because I believe 90% of your criminals, maybe that's a high number, are cowards. You pull a gun or you threaten them, they run. If they see something, or if a guy behind the counter reaches and grabs for something, or somebody yells in the back, I don't think their first reaction is to just fire off rounds. I think their first action is to run. I think if you're worried or you're concerned, I think the vulnerable places for thefts and robberies are places where they have no fear of conflict. They know they can go in, a stash and grab, a grab and stash. I can run away. I have no fear of hurting myself individually. So that's kind of where I like to conceal and carry, because you don't know, especially as you go north. People don't know. You don't know what's happening. Look at the states that have open carry and conceal. Crimes are down because people are afraid. Yeah, I want to rob $200. I want that $200, but I'm not going to take a bullet. I'll scare you with my gun. I probably not even going to shoot it, but if you pull one out, I'm running. Forget the 200.
I completely see that side, and that's what I'm saying. I'm just voicing one side of things. I was, at the time when I was going through, I was really looking at it from a law enforcement side, because then I'm going, now as a law enforcement officer, you have to approach every single person differently. Because you have to approach like every single person has a gun, and then again that adds in the mental aspect. It can create again more touch points. To use a salesy type sense of things.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely agree, and I mean maybe I'm just naive that I just assume everyone always has a gun, and I'm just going to be good, and that maybe I'm just naive in that aspect.
Well, Wags, you're familiar with this, that being out in Hartford, out in our area. It's like the Wild Wild West out there. I mean, the mayor
Anywhere
walks
outside
around
of
open carry at Quick Trip, Walmart. I mean, I've seen it a couple times. It's like, I'm not threatened by that. I don't feel uncomfortable by that, I guess. But I also maybe just have a different perspective just being out in the country, that I don't know. I feel like it's a very common thing for people to carry guns. But yeah. And like he was saying, with criminals, with the universal background check, Are they going through the proper means to acquire those guns anyways, or are they buying them from the black market? So,
right.
Or just
I guess
stealing
that's
them.
another thing.
They're just stealing them, just theft of guns. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
But that was one of the concerns. They're saying now, if this is, you're going to turn law-abiding citizens into criminals. Well, when you first read the quote or you read the headlines and you think, how are we going to turn law-abiding citizens into criminals? It would be because of the fact what we touched on before. You don't want to go through that process. You don't want to pay $20, $80, up to $200, like you said, to transfer the sale to my buddy. So you're going to do it, and technically you are doing it illegally. So you said, well, then it looks like all my guns were stolen. Well, I don't know what happened to them. They were stolen, and now, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just the whole thing. I mean, let's face it, when it comes to weapons and guns, there's always going to be controversy. It's always going to be something. Everything I've seen since this kind of passed through the House and is moving through, as I read through it, I'm like, well, really, it is a thing, but it's not a thing, because
How is it
again,
any different? Too?
Right? That's exactly it. That was my first thought. Is I was like, it's not that different than just going to buy a gun. I get like the guns, like the gun store sale, like that. But like the argument a lot of people have, so I can't pass a gun, I can't get granddaddy's gun type thing.
Right.
Well, yeah, you can. That's completely that's
it's still within the family. Yeah.
So it's not a whole lot of a change of anything. It's all just a technicality. As I see it, it's just a way to make everyone happy. We all have to give lip service to everyone to make sure that everybody's happy, because everyone needs a pat on the head to say, it's okay, we got your back, we'll do this for you, when really nothing's happening.
The first time that it gets brought up, then everybody gets their hair on fire and they need to overreact and without actually reading through it. So that's where I like to I wish there was a way that you could find out something's happening and just get a very elementary level overview of what does this actually mean. And I would like both sides of the perspective to explain it so that you can make your own decision then. See the pro and against. And then
do you feel like that's what we just did? I kind of feel like that's what we just did.
Exactly. So, but that never happens. It's just, it's bills that are hundreds of pages long and nobody ever reads through them. So then how do you actually get the information that matters to you? You got to read the whole thing and try and disseminate that and do all of that stuff. So I wonder do you guys know how accurate the current background checks are? I read a couple different things. I'll share a couple stats after you guys say something.
See, to me, the background checks, they're really just basically, as far as I'm concerned in my general knowledge of it, looking to see if you have a criminal history, what the crimes are. Like, if and really just saying, have you been convicted of a felony? Because then there's the boom, no gun. Like that, you're a convicted felon.
Right.
So that's essentially it. The mental health thing, that is such a, man, and I don't
violations,
I don't mean
some of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't want to go down a political road and make any of this political because it shouldn't be. But mental health is something in this country that we have absolutely failed and continue to fail over and over. And the one hope that I would have after the whole pandemic in the last year that we've lived through, we are going to see mental health issues come up even more so than they ever have in the past. And I hope that we recognize that and go, damn it, it's about time we do something about it. I'm someone that, I'm clinically, I have anxiety. I have it, and I will fully admit it, but there's a long point of my life of even thinking about going to see a therapist or, getting that stigma of you have anxiety or depression or it's like you can't say anything about it and you shouldn't, and oh my God, it's so bad, and you're crazy, and it's not. We all have something. Right. Everybody got something.
Right.
And when it comes to that aspect, there's maybe we should start looking at that. And again, like you said, HIPAA. I don't think there's anything with saying that there is mental health history with this person. It's not saying that they have suicidal tendencies or they're manic depressive or whatever specific it is. But like we all got something, so I feel like just assume everybody. I don't know. I'm yattering. I'm going to shut up. I'm stop talking.
No, that's a good point too. But as you hear now, divorces are very, very messy. A lot of guys up in northern Wisconsin that hunt, the very first thing that they do is they'll file a complaint of some sort, regardless of truth or false. And the next thing you know, they're trying to remove guns and stuff like that. So again, going back to the weapon, I'm not saying a mental evaluation in that sense. I'm saying about you got to find out what the laws are, because if there's some disgruntled wives that know that their husbands maybe prefer to go sit in the deer woods rather than take their wife out for Valentine's Day. So you know what? I'm going to say something, and as soon as I register this or I profound statement on this, his guns are gone. He can't fire. He can't buy nothing. So it's a tough line. It's a tough skate, and you got to figure it out. But there's definitely issues there, and you can't just blanket coverage it like you said. You can't just read it and just say, no guns, no this, or he can't have a gun. Well, what do you mean he can't have a gun?
Yeah, that's part of the red flag laws, right? I don't know what that where that currently stands at, but that's part of it. So I had two things that I come across just in preparation for this is that one study from Boston University School of Public Health in cooperation with Harvard, T.H. Chan School of Public Health, published an article saying that the universal background check laws were associated with a 14.9% reduction in overall homicides in a study in 2019. So that's good. Just as they stand right now, there's already some sort of reduction in the policy and with that related to homicides. And then the other thing that I thought, why I asked about, how accurate is this and how does this affect people actually buying them? So California recently implemented and now stopped the background checks on ammunition specifically. Between January 2019 or July.
California's different. We can't even look at California.
I know.
This is a state that's pretty much banned hunting of all types, and they're about to take bows away soon. Okay, so we can't even look at California.
Between July 2019 and January 2020, the ratio of people prohibited from buying versus law-abiding citizens that were rejected in the background checks was 1 to 537. So one person that was actually not supposed to be buying that was caught versus 500 to every 537 that were rejected that should be able to buy. And that was for a variety of reasons, like maybe their addresses were different from the last time that they bought. So it's things like that make that even more messy because, okay, well, if I've moved in the last 3 years since I bought my rifle, am I going to get flagged then? I'm not doing anything wrong. I just moved. But there's things like that. So those things have to get worked out for this universal background check to be effective and also to be safe. I mean, first and foremost, you don't want people who shouldn't be buying guns to be able to buy guns. But when it's little things like this that, you know, you could get a citation for it, which the study went on to say then that of those 537 people that were supposed to be able to buy were given a citation then, 95% of them were immediately overturned and dropped because it was just a stupid hiccup in the system. And then even further after the investigation was opened on it, almost all of them were then removed. So it's just, I don't know, it's creating headaches for gun buyers. And of course, it's California, so who knows what happens out there. But I thought that was interesting because, you know, you want to have a safe process for it. But if it's not working, then it's just adding a headache to the people who are supposed to be, you know, able to go out and be able to buy guns, be able to do it safely, and following all of the restrictions and everything that they should be. It's just making it a headache for them.
At the end of the day.
You look at that overlay, though. You're right. All these little parts and pieces are very important. But if I go right to the nuts and bolts and you look right at the start, is there a problem with a delay of a background check? Yeah, I don't know what exactly the background check entails, but I feel okay if I have to wait 3 days for the handgun, or if there's $1,000 or 1,000 round ammo limit. I don't want the guy, again, NRA member for life. I don't need a guy walking into Cabela's and buying 1,000 rounds today. If you're going to go on a hunting trip and you think you're going to blow 1,000, buy 300 today, buy 300 tomorrow, and buy 300 the next day. And I know that's going to go against the so-called thinking, but you know what? 3 days, depending on how those breakdowns of the background checks work, but a 3-day wait to make sure everything's okay, like we do at all our DU, Whitetails Unlimited, Pheasants Forever. Hey, I'm fine with that. And if you want to put an ammo limit, I'm fine with that.
You know what's great about that, Wags? And no reason to say what goes against or feel bad about it. You're using common sense. You're a common sense, normal, level-headed person. It's the first time I'm probably the last I'm ever going to tell you that, Wags. But that's just it. Like, are people do people just not use common sense at all anymore with anything?
Completely gone from society.
Like, I feel against the grain when I say that. You know, what I mentioned before of, like, take my guns, just let me shoot everything with a bow. I'm fine with that. I mean, I don't know. Common sense, I guess, has gone out the window. I was going to say before, at the end of the day, all of this, put it aside, no matter what happens with the universal background check, do we all agree and feel that if it stops a handful of crimes or a handful of mass shootings, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Yeah, if it stops one shooting, not even a handful. Right. If it stops one, it's a success. If one person lives, one person doesn't die, one person, a child, an adult, a woman, a man, an elderly person, one person saved life, it's worth it.
And I think ultimately that's why it is what it is, and that's why it's worded the way it is, and that's why they're trying to make this a real legitimate thing, is exactly that. It's broken. It's always, everything's going to be broken to some extent. You could pick apart any law or anything that happens in our common society and just, you know, say how it's crap, but it's garbage and it's unfair. But if it helps and prevents one thing, I think at the end of the day, that's the goal, and that's all that should matter.
And it could be anything. You know, it could be a shooting of any kind, but, you know, with that 3-day wait period or whatever that wait period might be, that may be the difference between life and death for somebody contemplating suicide, too.
Right.
Where if they have 72 hours or 48 hours even, they may reconsider and they may be able to, and that sucks to talk about, but that's the reality of it, that a lot of those, that can happen. And if you can, you know, put a halt on that for even a period of time, that could make a huge difference for a lot of people.
So Weg's not in studio with us today, but you're at home. What are you filling up there? Are you making another pot of coffee, or are you making breakfast?
No, I put a little bit more water in my coffee pot. I'm one of those cheap guys that I don't throw it out. I don't have a Keurig. I just say, I drank a little bit. I'm gonna make it a little bit watery, so I put a little bit more water in there.
Hey, Wags, coffee grounds are cheap, all right? Did you pitch for major league teams? Like, you're a major league baseball player.
And as I open up the thing, I got 8 o'clock. I got French vanilla. I got some hazelnut, but I'm too lazy. So instead of wasting a penny filter, I'll throw a little bit more water in there.
Oh, I love it. Hey,
That's funny.
Let's push the whole gun thing aside. Like you said, nothing's gonna happen with that. I wanted to talk about another problem that I've been having lately, and I wonder if you guys, how you feel about it as well when it comes to buying outdoor stuff and shopping. Do you prefer, first off, to shop in-store or online?
I think we live in a world now that you have an interest in something, you research about it, you look at things online, and there's a very good chance that you're going to go in and buy it. Of course, that depends on what it might end up be, what it is that you're looking to buy. But most of the time, I like to just go and look at everything in the store. So I might research ahead of time online and, try and figure out where it's actually in stock so I can know that when I go to Cabela's, Fleet Farm, whatever that might be, that I can actually go and pick it up. But I like to go in store and still buy stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm an in-store guy. I like it. I will use, I do use Gunbroker. I've had successes with the Gunbroker site, buying ammunition, obviously, because handgun ammo is tough to come by.
Any ammo?
Not going to stock up any ammo. Exactly right. Exactly right. I'll do that. I'll walk in. I like to look. I'm pretty much set. I'm not looking for the new rangefinder that goes out. I'm not looking for the new binoculars. I'm not looking for the new camo design or the new tricks of the trade. I'm pretty much, established in my ways. I'm old enough where it hasn't worked yet. So there's nothing out there that's going to help me anyway. So I might as well just keep going with what I got. And, but yeah, I can do it, and I'll do my little bit of research if I have to go online, but I'd prefer to hand touch it and pick it up.
Wags, you're talking about, buying the, rangefinder versus buying the binoculars. I don't know if you know this, but the folks at Vortex Optics, they actually have a pair of binoculars that has a rangefinder built into them. The Fury HD 5000s, you can get both in one. I'm just saying.
You did reference before that I played Major League Baseball, but did you ever flip the card over? Because if you flip the card over and you look at those large numbers, that means you have to buy two cheap things. You can't afford something nice.
Oh, I love it. No, but I always was an in-store person. I find myself online more now because I can shop around different things. And the other frustration I've had over the last year, and the pandemic has hit every industry in every way. I feel like even going into stores, there's freaking nothing there. I'm not to point out Cabela's, Bass Pro, love them, shop them, but they seem to be they're the big dog. They're the 8,000-pound gorilla as far as a store goes with that sort of stuff in our area, so to speak. And they never have anything in stock, it seems. Or go to the website or something, they send emails, oh, this is on sale, but then they're out of stock of everything all the time. And I find it lately so frustrating to try and purchase anything, whether it's in-store or online. So I'm going site to site to site to site to try and even just find things lately.
No, it is empty shelves everywhere. And it seems like regardless of what I need, I don't know, when I go into Fleet Farm, I like the Fleet Farms. I like the Cabela's. I'm tendency to just walk over to the ammo. I do. I look for ammunition, and I don't know why. Is it something that's been set in there because nobody has it? Is this COVID-19? Is this toilet paper and
you're still panic buying?
Right.
You're still panic buying. In fact, there was a report that just came out recently that 80% of people, no, 60%. It was 60% of people are still panic buying. They're still buying friggin' toilet paper and paper towels and buying canned foods and buying stuff. I don't know. For me, no. I mean, I've accidentally ended up with a lot of toilet paper and sanitizing wipes, but that's because I buy and my wife buys when we found them for a while, and then both look and go, oh, crap, we're done with that for a while.
We have 2 years worth of toilet paper now.
I mean, it wasn't that bad, but the Costco Giant 72, we ended up with two of those, and it's for the two of us, how many times are we going to wipe our ass that, we don't need that much toilet paper?
Right. I don't know. I still like going to the stores, though, just because you can look around at everything. And for me, especially the last couple months, with us working from home, I've even gotten to the point where I just tell my wife, I'm like, hey, I'm going to Fleet Farm. I need to go and I need to get out of the house. I need to walk around for a while. And I just am curious what's out there because you never see everything that's, new releases or whatever that might be. But I like to just go and look, and I like to also be able to see comparable products from other brands. We're all loyal to a lot of our own brands, but it's nice just to see what some of the competition is doing. And, if a competitor arrow company is bringing something out, or they've got a new line of arrows or whatever that is, that you can kind of check it out, get your hands on it, and, see what they're working with and all of that. So I still like it because you never know what you might find. Like, I just bought like 7 lures at Fleet Farm because they had a big clearance bin. It was maybe $1.50 or $2 for a lure, lures that are usually $5 to $8, and you never know what you might find there. So
I'll caution you. That is a slippery slope. You'll end up like me next.
it's okay.
3 giant Rubbermaid tins full of all kinds of stuff. And that's not to mention what's also in the gear bags.
It's okay.
Was just having the conversation with my wife today. I think maybe it might be time to finally go through and do some clearance and stuff. And once I do that, I'm going to find, a place that gets involved in taking kids out fishing, and I'm going to donate all this stuff to give to kids because that's where it needs to go. I've got so much crap that I don't even need. After years of doing what I've done between, chasing the gravel lizards and the bronzebacks, I've got it nailed down to my couple of things that I use the same. I don't know why forever I got caught in that. Oh, I got to pick this up, or you grab the clearance bin. Oh, let's try this. No, forget it. I never use the damn things anyway. I keep going back to my standby.
You never know. That might be the key to finding that big smallmouth.
Give me a white spinnerbait or give me a freaking swim jig, and I'm going to smash it. Give me a shaky head and some Senko. You go to the same damn things all the time anyway.
Right. Yeah.
And you know what? And you're going to do just what everybody does. You're going to go, you know what? Today I'm going to go out there and I'm going to grab all my bins and I'm going to go through. I'm going to get rid of stuff. I got lots of stuff to get rid of. And you're going to sit out there for 3 hours and you go, can't get rid of this.
Right.
Can't get rid of this. And then,
you have a
like, hey, I'm going to, like you just said, here, I'm going to donate this to the kids' fishing program. Okay, well, thank you for your 1 MEPS number 8. That's all you're going to give us? That's all I can give you.
That's all I'm willing to part with it this time.
Yeah.
You bring up
I know.
MEPS.
I sat there and looked at it for 3. Yeah.
I think I own about one of everything MEPS has ever made. And not that I've bought them. So I've talked about it on the show here before. Growing up, my dad processing deer and stuff like that. So we collect deer tails and sell the deer tails to MEPS. I will tell you, the vast majority of MEPS lures that you have ever purchased within the last 20 years, I've probably touched some of that bucktail. I mean, we used to sell huge quantities of deer tails between my dad and then we'd work with another processor that he knew. He would gather up all the tails. We'd be dropping off thousands of deer tails at the end of every season. So, I mean, there was a lot that we put there.
Insane.
Well, how they do it is you can sell deer tails and they'll give you I don't know I want to say it used to be like 50 cents a tail or $1 in product. Well, we always took product.
Of course.
So that's really you're like taking, buying stuff you don't
squirrels?
need. What's that?
Do they use squirrel? Don't they also use squirrel tails?
Yep, squirrel tails and deer tails were the same thing. So
okay,
I want to say it was 50
Sorry, I didn't mean to
cents.
interrupt you.
I want to say it's 50 cents per tail if you do cash payout, or $1 if you did product. So
It's not a bad deal, though.
that's how I ended up with so much MEP stuff. And you know how much
Do you
I've
ever
used?
have too much? I don't know.
I've used almost a few of the spinners I've used. That's about it. Maybe some of the XD spinners. That's literally the only thing I can think of I've ever actually used.
Yeah. So you guys were talking about it on one of the last episodes about kayak fishing. So I got a fishing kayak last year, and one of my biggest challenges was that I wasn't going to bring my entire tackle box with me, of course. So I had to downsize my tackle box, and I have specific things that are my favorite lures that I always take with it. I've got a needle nose pliers in there, and I've got a couple of different little accessory things so that if I run into any issues, I'm able to take care of it. But that was hard for me because you have so many, and you have to narrow that down then to, a dozen or 2 dozen or, however big your miniature tackle box is.
Welcome to the world of competitive bass fishing as a co-angler, especially like in BFL and that sort of thing. When you're out with a boater, you're a co-angler, you're second with it. So you've got to figure out what you can do for this body of water you're on, and all you can bring with you is basically what you can fit in a tackle bag, like one shoulder, basically like a backpack, like a big backpack. That's all you can pare it down to. That's what I mean. I'm good. I've gotten used to it from that world of doing that. That's where I've become able to do that. But of course, you're bringing a bigger bag with you on the road trip.
Yeah.
So when you get there, if you need something else,
Swap it
or
out.
you're buying more crap when you're there because you find out that this is working and this isn't working.
Yeah.
And again, this is how I've accumulated all the crap that I have. But you mentioned kayak. Guess what is just been ordered and headed to Milwaukee, Wisconsin from Minneapolis, Minnesota?
The light?
Oh,
no,
boy.
not lightning.
The
Is it
Lightning
the
Strike
Lightning?
HD.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice.
So
$2,500.
What's that?
You must $2,500. How much did that one cost you?
Retails for $18.95.
Oh,
So just shy of $2,000.
oh.
So you got the roof rack set up and you got that all planned out. We were talking about that last summer.
Yeah, well, the
So I
intention
know
was
you've
last
got
summer.
Everything.
The intention last summer was to invest, was to get my stand, my stand, sit on top, fishing, pedals, drive, kayak, and go with it. And I decided to put it off last year. I'm like, let's just wait on things. Mainly it came down, I couldn't find a friggin' roof rack last year.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
all that sort of stuff was sold. I couldn't even find a roof rack system. So it was like, well, I'm not going to bother buying the kayak to sit in the backyard when I can't take it anywhere. So yeah, now that I'm able to, get a hold of the Yakima rack that I wanted, it was the old ping order set to go. And conveniently, this had nothing to do with the stimulus. Conveniently, as I'm pressing order, my wife goes, "Oh, the stimulus showed up in the bank account." I'm like, "Good, completely guilt-free. What else am I buying?"
Yeah.
Let's see, Hummingbird. Are we going to add that Mega 360 imaging onto it too?
Yeah, it was funny. I ran to Walmart quick yesterday, and it was kind of middle of the afternoon, and honest to God, I've never seen so many smokers and grills going into the back of people's vehicles as I did yesterday, because the first round most people got the stimulus yesterday. So I thought I had to laugh to myself, because I just thought, this is not a coincidence.
No.
Not at all.
No.
So, but that's what it's there for. Try and, get revenue back in companies' pockets. And so
Spend it, spend it on the outdoors, and don't put it underneath your bed mattress.
Right.
Yeah.
As we talked about in one of the latest episodes, when you buy those outdoor products, part of that, there's a small tax in each of those things that goes right into conservation. So, if you're looking to buy something, buy something to do with the outdoors. Buy hunting and fishing gear, tackle, things like that. It's all going to go right back into conservation.
Yeah.
If you can find it, of course. That's the caveat.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought you were going to say, is that you couldn't find the kayak anywhere last year, because there were none of them available anywhere.
Lightning, they were on about a 3-week back order.
That doesn't
for the
seem
kayaks
too
too.
bad.
I mean, they shut down, stopped producing kayaks when this time last year they completely shut down, and they switched over and they started making face shields for frontline workers.
Sure.
So I mean, the stuff
Repurposing.
that they did, and again, they're a company right here out of the Midwest. I'm all for them. You mentioned the heavy pricey ones. Hobie is the one you always think of when you think of fishing kayaks. I mean, for what I'm getting out of the Lightning Strike, it's an amazing kayak compared to the Hobies. It's, I would say, better than the Hobies for a fraction of the price. I mean, I just think people don't know about them as much. They're not as advertised out there as Hobie. Everyone thinks of a Hobie. So, I mean, I will always sing the praises of Lightning, and I can't wait to get on that thing and start fishing right away this spring. So that's, I mentioned to Wags a couple weeks ago, I remember this. What did I tell you was my goal in a kayak this summer?
Oh, you did, because that's when I was telling you my daughter wants kayaks.
Muskie. I want to put a muskie in a kayak this summer. That is an absolute goal of mine. So I don't care if it's a 36-inch muskie. A muskie in a kayak. It doesn't matter. I can start somewhere. That's a personal goal.
Get
I'm
it
going to
out of the kayak.
Yeah, I'm going to set that as a goal for myself. Because I'm a person, I feel like I like to work on goals if I want to accomplish this.
Yeah.
X type thing. So I've talked about stuff I'm buying. Is there anything you guys, as we head into spring and start getting into seasons going, any purchases that you're thinking about within the next year? Or are you guys like, hell, did I have everything I need?
Well,
Task, you were just there. Yeah, what did you look at?
Yeah,
yesterday?
so I actually, we're very fortunate to have Lake Michigan here, and the tributaries that trout and salmon run up. I've never fly fished before, and I'm going to buy a fly rod. So
Nice.
I've never done it. I've never tried it. But, they should start swimming here in the next couple weeks.
They're already moving in the tribs. You've got some browns and a few steelhead that are working their way. I know Kenosha area, far southern Wisconsin, they're starting to work their way through there already. So
yeah, so I'm gonna get one of those. I guess I'm gonna practice in the front yard or in the road just to try and figure it out. But that's something that I've never done, and I've always kind of been interested in it. And
you ever casted a fly rod at all?
No.
Oh wow.
No. So this is all completely new for me.
All right.
So
I'm not a professional, but I can give you a hand. I do have a fly rod. I have fly fished. I can cast a fly rod. It's been a long time since I've done it.
Yeah.
That's again another one of those rods and things that are laying in the basement. It's probably garbage. I should just buy something new at this point. But yeah, fly fishing. That's. I always say if I lived out west, if I lived in Colorado, I would be a huge fly fisherman.
Constantly.
I love it. I had a lot of fun this fall. Running around in the tributaries and trying to find some steelhead and stuff. I got at it a little bit late.
Okay.
So the fish weren't as prominent. I mean, I wasn't getting in until after really the salmon had even run through.
Sure.
So, I mean, I was just more going to do stuff to get outside. But yeah, you mentioned that. Well, I think we're gonna have to hook up on that. We're gonna have to do, maybe this will be one of our true tailgate talks where we go out, do something, and then bullshit about it afterwards, as the podcast.
I'm in. Wags, what about you? What are you getting?
Hey, we were just talking about turkey season starting up. So I was just up at the feed mill up at the co-op and just talking to the guys. So I'm getting my seed ready for my food plot. So I'm going to go back to the deer. And I actually ordered a couple rednecks out of a company, a redneck, which is the fiberglass outer shelled deer hunting blinds. A guy out of Algoma runs them. So they get shipped up from Missouri. Redneck is out of Missouri. They're sending them up there. There's a couple other baseball players around here. We're getting a gooseneck. It's going to drop off about 5 of them. So, hey, I'm getting ready for placement. I'm going to try to trim. I'm going to get ready. I got to get these food plots going. I'm going to shoot some turkeys. And then when that dust settles, then we'll head up to the water and do a little fishing. But you mentioned fly fishing a lot. I was telling Ritter before, I go up to the Holcomb area where the Chippewa and the Flambeau go together. And the guys were fly fishing for muskies. So now you take your muskie out of a kayak, you take your fly fish.
Hey, it sounds like it could be a lot of fun. So I'm excited. Spring's here. You talk about turkeys. I'm excited to get out. I've got some areas on some public lands that I've been pinning, been looking at. In fact, I actually wrote an article that's on my site, kind of talking about being a busy dad that I am and how I really go into any hunting situation, do a lot of it ahead of time, kind of the pre-hunting, the pre-planning. So that's what I've been doing lately. It's time to go start scouting in the next couple of weeks. I'm hoping to bring my little guy out, do some hikes, kind of do some glassing, check and see if we can find some birds in these areas, whether they're worth sticking around or I got to find somewhere else to go hunt. But that's what I'm looking for to next turkey season. And then obviously fishing is coming now that ice is out. And boy, did it go quick.
Yeah.
Dang.
It seemed like overnight almost. It's a matter of maybe 3 or 4 days.
Just about, parts? Yeah. I mean, for the studio where we're recording here, looking in the back, I mean, we had, 2 feet of snow. It was in a matter of 2 days. There was grass. The snow was already gone. So, but thanks for tuning in. Tailgate Talk, another episode coming soon. Of course, we've got our actual radio show that's on 97.3 The Game in Milwaukee, our main affiliate, Saturday mornings, 7 o'clock. Again, next week, another new episode. Tailgate Talk coming right here. Thanks for listening. I'm Ritter, the Tasker, and Wags. We'll chat next time.